A very, very good afternoon to you and a warm welcome. Glad to have you tuned in here on Chukka TV. We are coming to you live from Jan Pamela Field, number 1. You might see behind me the players groomed and ready to get the final of the much-anticipated John Seba Memorial on its way. Delighted to have John Seba with me. Good afternoon, John. Before I introduce the teams, you, of course, have been instrumental in making this tournament happen. I know I shouldn't ask you this, but have you got a favourite, and do you have an idea who might just have the upper hand in this final?
No, I just wish everybody, horses included, come out safe and have a good time.
Thank you very much. So we will get off the field. We will have John Seba back here for a little halftime interview. Thank you. That was a great little intro. Best of luck there from John Seba for this tournament. If I can now ask the players to be ready as I call out their names. We have two teams who actually have already met once before in this tournament. We're going to start, of course, from left to right in the black shirts. The name Dundas at number 1. Please put your hands together and welcome Mr. Cable Magnus. At number 2, playing off 3 goals, say hola to Juan Cruz Marcos. Then we have from the United Kingdom, ladies and gentlemen, please say good afternoon to Mr. Hugo Taylor. And at number 4, a man who is going to be instrumental in this final. Give it up for Mr. Tatu Gomez Romero. Good afternoon, Tatu. For Newport then, ladies and gentlemen, at number 1. No stranger to being in a final. And once again here at Jan Palmas, give it up for Mr. Gene Goldstein. And then we have a young man with a lot of talent, a lot of potential going. He's only at 2 goals. Give it up for Milo Dorignac. Good afternoon, Milo. And then at number 3, Michel Dorignac, highest handicap player on the field this afternoon. Good afternoon to you, sir. 6 goals, Michel Dorignac. And at number 4, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nick Manifold. Good day to you, sir. Your 2 umpires, your mounted umpires this afternoon, Julio Escura on the field. And, of course, the one and only Mr. Energy, Mr. Dale Schwitz. Third man, sitting alongside me here, none other than the very, very knowledgeable Mr. Steve Lane. So I think we are ready. The ball will be thrown in, of course. We are playing 6 chukkers of 7.5 minutes duration. And as I said, these two teams actually already met during this tournament when Newport won convincingly 15 goals to 11. So an opportunity now here for a rematch and for Dundas to show that they are worthy champions of the Sieber Memorial 2021. And they seem to be getting off to the better start, winning that important first throw-in. And that ball just shaving the front of that goal mouth, going just slightly out to the left-hand side. So, and I'm sure Steve, and we'll be talking a lot together this afternoon. Steve, glad to have you by my side. You know these players a lot better than most. And you will, of course, will be quite keen to hear what your thoughts are as these teams now very quickly, of course, try and find their rhythm. Now, that is the man I warned you about, Tatu Gomez Romero. Very keen, maybe a little bit too keen there, committing the first right-of-way infringement. That, of course, as you know, is a no-no in the world of polo. Again, good call here by the umpires. As long as there is no immediate danger, they can and will be somewhat lenient. But that, of course, was a little bit too close for comfort. And as a result of that, the umpire duo, Julio Esquera and Del Schwetz, will drop that ball down on a penalty 4. Now, penalty 4, of course, as you know, especially those of you who are regular viewers here on Chukka TV, is a 60-yard distance, with the defending team allowing 30 yards the distance from the striking player. Ball being teed up there by the highest handicap player on the field, Michel Dorignac. Remember, he coming in at 6 goals. Now, you might be wondering if you can see on your scoreboard that Dundas have already been given a goal. That is because they total a team handicap of 4 and 4 is 8 and 3 is 11. And Newport coming in off 12, hence that 1 goal advantage for Dundas. So now let's see what Michel Dorignac can do after that first whistle and foul, resulting in a penalty for... Oh, it's blocked nicely by the number 2 there, Juan Cruz Marcos, just putting his mallet up in the air. That's exactly what the penalty 4s were designed for, with that 30 yards distance to try and block. You don't see that very often. Great eye for the ball and a great defensive play here by Juan Cruz Marcos. But you can see Newport wanting to latch on and keep the momentum going. Ball lands at the feet of the man who calls that foul in the first place, Tatu Gomez Romero, a very, very agile and a very, very strong player, playing, of course, of 4 goals alongside him, the Englishman, Hugo Taylor. There's the open backhand, nicely taken by Manifold. Manifold looking to find 1 or 2 of his attacking players, but Dundas very quickly send that ball back up towards the halfway line. Did not get the pace and the length they wanted. Now, this is an interesting one. 3 players descending on the ball all at the same time. Steve, difficult call here for the umpires. You can see immediately they're having to consult who they thought was the first player on that ball. And Del Schwetz immediately having to consult the third man. Well, we'll be coming back to you right back in 1 or 2 seconds here. I can hear in the background here Steve Lane just talking to one of the umpires. And of course they are all connected via walkie-talkies. So any information will straight away be relayed back. And Del Schwetz and Julio Esquera, beg your pardon, Escura, have had a little word with the third man. Steve, why don't you share the information with us?
Well, fouls against Black. Here, White was on the line. Black comes in there at 90 degrees and at a bad angle. So the umpires were just discussing ball placement. And, of course, it's very severe, dangerous foul. It could have been a lot worse than it really was, but a penalty 2, 30-yard undefended shot will be as far as the umpires can go with a penalty on this play.
Thank you very much, Steve. And that, of course, an opportunity here, a very important opportunity. A second one. We just saw the penalty 4 now being moved up to a penalty 2 on this play. And it'll be Michel Dorignac, undefended goal. Gets his pony nicely calm in a walk. No mistake. Dorignac, the first score here for his team, Newport. So that makes it 1 goal apiece. Remember, as I said, Dundas coming in already with a goal in hand due to the handicaps. They're coming in off 11 as Newport coming in off 12. Now, I did say, Steve, and we were both there, the last time these two teams met in this tournament, it was quite a convincing win, 15 goals to 11 in favour of Newport. I'm sure they'll have learned a lot of lessons from that game. And will, I'm sure, be doing everything they can to not have a case of history repeating itself. Here we go, a nice little run through the centre there. Juan Cruz Marcos feeds the ball up to the number 3, the young Englishman, Hugo Taylor. Couldn't quite finish off that very forceful attack, as now Newport have a little bit of space In comes the challenge again straight away early on. They want to shut down Newport in their own half if they can, regain possession of the ball. In comes the number 3, Taylor. One of the 2 4-goalers sends it back into the danger zone where Marcos is waiting. Tries to pick that one up on the near side. He did everything right because he saw there was a player coming down the line. Just couldn't make the connection now on the far side. Newport. And they break up as they go. And for the first time, get into the territory there of Dundas. We have a horse race, a 2-man horse race. There's a pass to the centre, looking for Gene Goldstein. It's not on his stick side. Near side, a deflection. Where's it going to bounce? Those are the tricky, dangerous balls. They can bounce. And then before you know it, you've got the wrong coloured shirt on that play, and they will sink it, given half a chance. Dundas now, deep in their own half, will try and send it back the way it came from with a little bit of interest. And another right of way, right under the camera here on centre field. And as was to be expected, Steve, I'm sure you'll agree with me, both of these teams not wasting any time, getting right into the thick of it here. Normally you would see the teams just sort of sizing each other out and just getting a feel for each other, but they want to get their hand on that beautiful trophy. Of course, we will have the prize presentation, and we're delighted to have John Sieber here with us this weekend, or this Friday rather, who will be conducting that prize presentation. So that ball being teed up there for a penalty, 5A. Play is called, and it'll be Michel Dorignac who gets things underway with 3:48 left on the clock in the first chuck. He will leave that behind for Milo. Milo now has a wide open space, wants to get a little bit closer and centre that ball. In comes the challenge and the rider from Hugo Taylor. He might have been better to have taken that shot a little bit early. He was definitely within shooting range as Dundas break and get stopped just short of the halfway line. The player there, knowing there was no one to pass it to. In comes the drive forward. That's a great pick up here. In front of goal now. Looks like the Englishman to me. Oh, he just slightly overran that one. As the number 1 there, Cable Magnus, on a very, very tight angle, couldn't pick up that ball. Well, Steve, I think you'll agree with me already now, with half a chucker played, a nice, flowy, open game of polo in this Seba Memorial.
Yeah, they've come hot out of the gate right here, right at the beginning, and this certainly looks a lot better than 12-goal polo, so both teams off gunning and running.
Thank you very much. Now, here is the man with the number 4. I did warn you about him. Tatu Gomez Romero. He makes it look so easy and gets that most important first goal of the game. Not only the first goal, but also puts his team back in the lead by 2 goals to 1. We're down to 2:25 as the whistle comes, beg your pardon, 2:24 as the umpires will blow the whistle, suggesting and offering the players for a quick courtesy change. So, Steve, a quick goal there by Michel Dorignac. He couldn't convert the penalty for, but he made small business there of that penalty too, getting his first goal. And then I was waiting for that first break for Dundas and Tatu Gomez Romero, making it so easy. And again, a lot of space there for the 4-goaler. 2:24, and the players very keen to come back very quickly here. Remember, they have only 45 seconds for a courtesy horse change. And Dundas, very early on here, flexing their muscle. Remember, I did mention they had to concede in a previous game. It was exactly the same setup here against Newport. Newport winning that game 15 goals 11. I'm sure they'll have taken a lot of information and experience from that game. Changed their strategy also slightly. Tatu Gomez Romero, of course, coming in for Robertito Zeda. Let's see if that makes any difference. And Hugo Taylor alongside Tatu. I think they are going to be a very, very strong force to reckon with.
It's a well-balanced team. Dundas is very well-balanced. Cable Magnus, I've seen him play some games before, but this first chucker, I think, is the best chucker I've seen him play out of all those previous games. So I think this team's wound up, and they want that Seba Memorial Trophy pretty bad.
Yep, I think you're right, and let's hope that all of them, of course, Cable playing off 0 goals, a very, very young, talented player, 16, 17 years of age, Let's see if he can get his name up on the score sheet. But you're absolutely right, Steve. He's showing his value and his worth very much there in the opening sequence here of this first chukker. This time it is Newport who come out on top, winning that first throw-in. Still a little bit of a jam going on over there on the far side. There comes an near-side backhand under the watchful eye there of Dale Schwetz, of course. You might be used to hearing Dale, of course, on the microphone, but the man has so many talents this afternoon. Seeing him in the saddle, umpiring this, as I say, much anticipated final. Here we go then. Gene Goldstein. Goldstein, he topped that ever so slightly. Tattoo coming back in defence. That, of course, and you mentioned that to me last night, Steve. We might just want to give our viewers at home another little bit of a breakdown and a definition of the individual positions on a polo field. But let's just wait and see what happens here, because what just happened there is that Michel Dorignac took the ball off Tattoo Gomez Romero under the motto, if you snooze, you lose. And that's exactly what happened. So Dorignac getting his second goal of this final, putting the team right back here. Even Stevens, 2 goals apiece. Steve, we were just talking about positions. Why don't you just run us through the 1, 2, 3, 4?
Well, the number 1 is the most offensive player. That's the player that you want out front, that everybody passes to, and with a nice stick work, ball control, he takes it to the goal. The number 2, he's a runner, long ball hitter, and he has the tough job of marking the number 3. And the number 3 is usually the highest rated player on the team sometimes, and is the quarterback, should be setting up plays, and is the pivot man. The number 4, the most defensive player, and he should be good at back shots on both sides of the pony.
Thank you very much, Steve. And as you were talking us through that, of course, we see another goal here coming courtesy of the young Englishman, Hugo Taylor. 4 goals. Spoke to him just before the game. Delighted to be playing in this final. You might have heard in the background there the siren indicating the end of the chukker. Now, of course, had they come back in time before that siren would have gone off and the ball would have been thrown in, they would have played those extra 30 seconds. But that is all they played for at the end of chukker number 1. The team in the black shirts, Dundas, take a small lead into that first pony change. We'll be back with chukker number 2 after this short break. Welcome back, everybody. A very good afternoon to you. Temperatures out here and conditions absolutely spot on. We've had a very hot morning. The wind has definitely taken or brought us a little bit of a breeze here. We are coming to you from Jan Pamela Polo Field number 1 to the Seba Memorial Final, as this man with the number 3, Hugo Taylor, not wasting any time whatsoever, getting his second goal of the afternoon and up on the score sheet, putting his team in a nice comfortable position now by 4 goals to 3, barely half a minute played. That, Steve, is what you want to do in a final all day long. Win the throw-in and then run with it from one field, from the centre basically to the end, leaving your opposition, your defending team, just to chase you.
Bowling is such an important part of the game, and yeah, a lot of teams don't practice them, but you need them in a game like this. And here, White is going to return the favor and win the bowl-in, but it's backed out of there, and 2 players turning. The man you just mentioned, Hugo Taylor, is on the move.
Hugo Taylor, clearly an extra portion of porridge for breakfast this morning, trying to make it a very quick 3 in a row. And that was a bit of a slamming on the brakes there for, I believe, Dorignac. Couldn't quite turn his pony as quickly as he would have liked. And, of course, Steve, we haven't spoken that much yet about the horses. It is, of course, also very much down to the horse power and also the way the horses are trained, the agility, the way they're able to stop and turn literally on a sixpence. In your language, that would be a dime or a nickel. And that, of course, can make all the difference in getting to that play a lot quicker, especially when you have a dead ball and all of a sudden you turn defense into offense. Being able to have that pony turn on the spot and accelerate literally out of the start blocks can give you the upper hand. Dundas still very much here controlling the action on the field. A little flick of the wrist from Tatu Gomez Romero, getting his second of the afternoon. And all of a sudden here, it is a 3-goal cushion, 5:29 and counting, and Dundas clearly out there with a point to prove.
Yeah, and remember, they received 1 goal on handicap. Boy, this looks like a tough team to give a goal away to, but right now they're clicking on all cylinders. And the 2, 3, and 4, and Cable Magnus is doing his job as well. So Dundas, a tough team. Newport's got to get a little rhythm and a little momentum going here early in this game.
Indeed. Back to the action we go on the far side. This time it is the turn of Newport, winning that oh-so-important throw-in. He's going to leave that one behind as they try and get a little bit closer. You can see the attacking players. Steve just mentioned the different roles. The number 1, the number 2, the goal scorers trying to make themselves available as Michel Dorignac there leaves 1 defending player behind. Now, Dorignac, of course, also a man who will have a crack at taking a long-distance shot, but so far he's just finding a little gap here and there to get through those defenders of Dundas, and this time just slightly overshot it there. Would he have been better, do you think, Steve, to have taken a shot a little bit early when he had a chance?
I think Newport wants to slow things down here a little bit. We've seen Dundas run to goal a couple of times, so Newport says, hey, let's slow down the momentum and see if we can't work it a little bit closer and then take a shot.
Well, they're going to have a tough job here because the way these boys are riding, the way they're mounted, of course, and Dundas, you could literally feel from that very first ball being thrown in that they are here and they want to not have a repeat of the last time these 2 teams met, of course, in this final where they lost 11 goals to 15. A nice little cut shot here as he comes round the outside, man, with the number 2, Juan Cruz Marcos. Marcos again. Slightly overcooked. That has to slam on the ABS brake system there to get to that ball. Cuts in through those white shirts, looking possibly here for an under the neck shot or maybe a shot on the near side. And that little cut shot just now, which he didn't quite hit the way he liked, that took the pace out of the game or out of that play, allowing Newport to come right back here and shut that play down. We have a whistle. A whistle on that play. Well, I'm sure Newport will be liking that. And you can see Dale Schwetz very quickly here, dropping the ball on the centre line. Steve, talk us through that penalty and that whistle, would you?
Well, we had a nice clean write-off up front between that pair of players, and Juan Cruz Marcos came in front of Michel Dorignac there, so it was a right-of-way violation with the second man coming down the line and the right-of-way.
Well, we've mentioned that before. We mentioned that this morning, of course, and we will always try to mention that when we have a game on, just to give you an idea of what's going on right now. 3:41 the clock. The umpires have blown the whistle. So we had that penalty, but we've also have the courtesy change, which, of course, we allow the players to have halfway or more or less halfway through a chukker. 3:41, the players will be coming back out in just a few moments on fresh ponies. Now, very important to mention, of course, is that line of way or that right-of-way infringement. And for those of you, once again, who have just joined us for the first time, first of all, important for you to pick up on is that the players, of course, only play using their right hand. Back up until 1974, you were actually allowed to use your left hand, but if you think about it, that doesn't make any sense, having a left-handed polo player coming down the field with a right-handed polo player. So back in 1974, they said, right, we're going to get rid of that rule. You have to all play with your right hand. And funnily enough, most of the world's best players, including myself, of course, are all left-handed. Not that I was ever that great, but it's all down to muscle memory and training and practicing, and that can make all the difference. So, a penalty after that right-of-way infringement there. The umpires are very quick with their decision. Both Julio and Dale seeing very much eye to eye on that call. A penalty 5B, a hit from the centre of the field. A penalty 5A is a hit from the spot. So, for example, if the ball goes out of play, then the team who caused that ball to go out of play have to go in defence. The opposition will then get a hit from the spot. Now then, Michel Dorignac, already 2 very important goals on the score sheet for him. He will try and send this one deep down the field. It has a deflection coming off the pony there of Juan Cruz Marcos. Don't be alarmed. The ponies, as you can see, all have protective bandages around their legs, exactly for when that could happen, that the ball might hit them. So they are very much looked after, and also their tails, of course, tied up for when the players attempt a back shot, which could also be a tail shot. You don't want to get the polar mallet tied up with the pony's tail. Nicely taken out of the equation there, Cable. Magnus doing a fantastic job, allowing his number 3, Hugo Taylor, there to run with the ball. That is teamwork. And that was a great display there of how Cable had to take out that defending player to allow Hugo Taylor, who I've got to say is impressing me no end here this afternoon. Fortunately, it didn't result in a goal, but team play nonetheless. Here's another near side backhand, nicely taken by Taylor. It's going to land on the green for Tatu Gomez Romero. It'll be picked up by Marcos. Marcos now finding a little gap for himself. Avoids that hook that came in from Michel Dorignac. There's the drive coming through from Tatu Gomez Romero. A little bit too short. Juan Cruz Marcos couldn't get to that one in time, but those are the kind of mistakes that will cost you dearly, especially when Tatu will get the slicer out and slices that one beautifully with a cut shot to goal. Like I said, Tatu Gomez Romero here, his 3rd of the final, and all of a sudden there are 4 goals in it. Yes, they got the one at the beginning. If you take that one away, it's still 3 goals, 5 goals to 2 to 5 is what it would be, but that goal, of course, stands 6 goals to 2. Steve, Tatu Gomez Romero, him and Hugo Taylor, the 2 4-goalers. They need to come up with an idea, a very quick strategy here in Newport, because if they don't get a grip on these 2 4-goal players, they're going to be regretting, I'm sure.
Yeah, broken play on that last goal. Manifold shot one into a pony, and Romero able to pick it up and take it down and score, and he found that open space, and he was just uncatchable at that point.
Back to the action. Newport turning things around once more. Take the ball over the halfway line. 3 of their attacking players. He's got to be careful. There's a man on, and he might just run this one himself, just holding behind their player with the number 2, Milo Dorignac. He was anticipating possibly that they would lose the ball, but again on the far side, Tatu Gomez Romero. Look at that pony open up, and again they're on the break here. Dundas over the halfway line. No mistake there. Solid first touch from him. He's got plenty of space now. Checks his pony. Juan Cruz Marcos. And it all looked so good. And then just the finishing there. He took that ball a little bit too far out to the right-hand side. Again, the powerful long ball from Michel Dorignac. On the halfway line, he finds his number 4. Manifold. Now, this is play, of course, will continue. You might have heard that siren in the background. 30 seconds and counting left to play. Dorignac couldn't get to it. And again, it is Dundas. There's the open backhand. They still have a chance if they could just pick it up. He does nicely so on the near side. There's an appeal. The umpire's not having any of it. Now the whistle comes with a matter of seconds left to play. We'll come back in just a few moments with Chukka number 3 with the next penalty on this, the Seba Memorial Final 2021. Stay with us here on Chukka TV. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. I'm glad you've joined us here. If you've missed the first two chukkers, well, you've missed two very, very exciting, fast and furious chukkers here. We are, of course, here at Jan Pamela Polo Field, field number 1 for the Seba Memorial Final 2021. A very good afternoon to John Sieber, who is here from the Sieber family. I'm hoping to get him in front of the microphone and in front of the camera for the halftime interview. We are at 6-2 for the team in the black shirts, Dundas. Let me just quickly run you through who's out there this afternoon. Cable Magnus coming in today to play for his older sister, Sarah Siegel Magnus. Then at number 2, Juan Cruz Marcos, the 3-goaler. And then we have two very, very strong 4-goalers. A young man from Manchester, England, Hugo Taylor, playing off 4 goals. And Tatu Gomez Romero, very dangerous, very, very strong player here for Dundas, and someone that Newport need to get a grip on because he's already scored 3 goals. For Newport then, we have Gene Goldstein at number 1 alongside 2 very talented young gentlemen by the name of Milo Dorignac, 2 goals, and then of course Michel Dorignac, highest handicap player of 6 goals out there on the field, and Nick Manifold making up the number 4 position, playing off 3. Nick Manifold, don't want to get it wrong here, don't want to call him a Kiwi when he comes from Australia, but I'm pretty sure we asked that question before. Manifold, the man from down under. But it's going to be Michel Dorignac to try and convert this penalty 3, an open goal, undefended, and he makes no mistake, also getting his 3rd and a very important goal here at the top of chukker number 3 for Newport. Michel Dorignac so far the only man to have scored on Newport. Steve, 6-3. Dundas just came out here with a point to prove, and they've proven it so far. Newport going to get a grip, especially on those 2 4-goalers. The man from Argentina, Tatu, and the young Englishman, Hugo Taylor.
Yeah, I think they will. And Milos Dorniak's been a little bit silent thus far. He's been a workhorse, but hasn't done a lot with the ball. And when we talked about positions, notice that we did not mention that the positions change it all the time. And Nick Manifold's been playing up at number 1 a little bit, and so is Romero, and that's why he has scored 3 goals. But Cable Magnus scoring this goal, being up front, right where he's supposed to be, and playing above his handicap, in my opinion, from what I've seen so far.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. And Cable not only showing his strength and his ability, as we saw in that previous chukker, also when it needs to be up in defence, and I think that was well overdue. Cable Magnus getting a superb goal, the first for him in his final. So they're doing everything right, and it looks like they've won the throw-in once again, or have they? Still on the halfway line. Goldstein there getting the first touch of that ball, but only as far as Juan Cruz Marcos. 3-7 then, as Cable Magnus getting that oh-so-important goal for him. I'm sure that will motivate him and know when he'll be looking for, I'm sure, a couple more goals. And on the far side, well, again, you could see how he just came across that line from that player. He was literally nearly T-boned him there. Once again, very watchful and good eye there by Mr. Dale Schwetz. So, once again, a good call. Now, let's see what the umpires decide to give here. It's going to be a hit from the spot. Tatu just a little bit too quick off the mark again. Very keen, this Dundas team. Here we go. Over on the far side, let's see what kind of a team player they have up their sleeve. You see very often you'll see one player taking the ball as far as he can, whilst another one just hovers behind to then basically find a shot to goal. Another whistle, this time due to the fact that the ball had been knocked over the back line by a defending player. So that, of course, as we know, a safety 60. Steve, just talk us through a safety 60.
Safety 60, a penalty 6, is when the defending team hits the ball over their back line. And if it comes off the mallet and then that player's horse or his body, then that's a safety. If it goes off any other pony or any other player, then it is not a penalty 6. However, if it comes off the mallet and off the goalpost, rolls over the back line, that is a safety. Or even the boards, off the defending player's mallet, hits the boards over the back line, and it is a safety.
Thank you very much, Steve. That, of course, the equivalent of a corner in polo, beg your pardon, of a corner in soccer or hockey, or any other game where you, of course, play end-to-end with 2 goal mouths, of course. So a shot on goal, not quite on the penalty 4 mark, slightly further afield, and he took a nice strike there. It was definitely airborne, but, and as you said earlier, I don't think we can blame this one on the wind. He just didn't quite get his bearings right. Nice strike, but no goal. They stay at 3 goals to 7. 7 for Dundas and 3 for Newport. And Newport here again trying to just contain Dundas in their own half. There's the backhand. Picked up by the number 3, Dorignac. Dorignac already with 3 goals to his name. Dorignac now there needs to be very careful. Remember, we were talking about that line. He can't cross that right of way, as here we have Tatu Gomez Romero on a flying pony, and he's out in front and he's out on his own. He's going to let this one just bounce. In comes the challenge. Tatu gets the putter out, takes aim, makes no mistake. Goal number 4 for the 4-goaler. Well, Steve, we mentioned it at the beginning, and we've seen a couple of runs like this from Tatu Gomez Romero. Incredible pony, incredible eye. He did everything just right. Sent the ball down the field, checked up nicely, and just put it between the uprights.
Well, that was a great example of number 4 going to the number 1 position, receiving a pass from a teammate and out front, and he didn't have to look back. He had a pony that was flying down the field, unable to be caught, and made a nice controlled play.
So goal number 4 for the 4-goaler, as I say. 8 goals now to 3. That cushion, that advantage, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. With a little under 4 minutes left to play in the first half. Remember, we play 6 chukkers. And I'm very much hoping that John Sieber, who of course is here with us this afternoon, will find the time to come and talk to me at the halftime interval, when the players have a slightly longer break. Michel Dorignac there while trying to get that ball a bit further down the field. We have a slight, a few clouds in the sky, bringing with them a nice little breeze. Hard ride off there between the 2 number 3s. Hugo Taylor against Michel Dorignac. He took a shot under the belly of the pony, and that is why we have a safety zone. Tatu getting there first, not allowing Michel Dorignac a second strike on that ball. There's a call from the front there. Cable Magnus wants that ball, but it's picked up again on the halfway line. Dorignac, Michel now. Couldn't control it. He's going to give it to Taylor. Taylor with a little flick of the wrist there. He will outplay them all. And here we go. Hugo Taylor looking for his 3rd, as Juan Cruz Marcos will try and clear the way to allow Taylor all the time and space he needs. And Taylor, he will make mincemeat out of that one. Nicely done. Again, a great combination team play here. Goal number 3 for Taylor. And they are just 1 shy of going into double figures. 6 goals the difference now. 9 goals to 3 for Dundas.
Boy, they are working well together. They're a well-oiled machine, and Dundas can't do anything wrong. And right now they are on fire. So Newport is going to have to regroup a little bit at halftime and do something different. They've tried running with them. They've tried slowing things down, and right now nothing's working. Of course, you know what? When everything's going your way, then it's going your way. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I mean, 2:23 left to play. Quick courtesy change here. Let's have a look at the score sheet here. They started with a goal in hand, of course, coming into this final with a team handicap of 11, and then it was very quick for Taylor and Tatu Gomez Romero, who was actually the man who caused the first foul of this final. But they quickly scored a couple of goals. It was 2 apiece at the end of the first chukker. No score for Newport in chukker number 2. 3 times they hit the target again. Taylor and Romero hitting between them the target 3 times. Once each again now in chukker number 3. And also Cable Magnus getting that very, very nice goal a little bit early at the top of chukker number 3. So far only 1 goal scored by Newport. Again, and Michel Dorignac, the only man to have scored so far. Well, I think it's safe to say here that Dundas, despite what Newport might be trying to do, Dundas are just playing their game, not being fazed in the slightest by what Newport have on the agenda. And this is definitely a different game to when they played the last time. Remember, Newport won that last match when they met together, 15 goals to 11. We're down to a little over 2 minutes left to play in the first half. The players will have a slightly longer break. Newport, I'm sure, will appreciate the fact that they have the time to maybe change their strategy. Again, that ball just going over on or out of play on the left-hand side. And as I say, I'm hoping to get Mr. John Sieber in front of the microphone. Conditions, Steve, I think they could not be better. It was very hot the last few days. Now a little breeze and scattered cumulus stratus nimbus, I think is what they call it, are these type of clouds giving the players a nice little breeze out there. And again, Dundas winning every single ball back. Juan Cruz Marcos here does not want to be asked twice. That ball will just triple over the sideboard. So we have a penalty 5-air hit from the spot. It'll be given in favour of Newport, who, as I say, and as you said yourself just now, Steve, haven't really connected, haven't gelled, haven't found their rhythm yet. Whereas Dundas, I'm sure they'll have had an early night last night, knowing that they are playing this much anticipated. I myself have been very much looking forward to being here for this final. Nice ball up to the front door, looking again for Cable Magnus. Can he pick this one up on the near side? The ball a little bit too far away from him. Also, Juan Cruz Marcos could not pick that one up. Down comes that hammer on the near side from the young Englishman. Taylor trying to block that attack. Taylor now will try and send it back. Sends it initially into no man's land, but you can see straight away two Dundas players, the first of which here with the number 4, Tatu Gomez Romero, sticking closely there to the number 3, Michel Dorignac. Little under the neck. Coming from Manifold. Manifold finds, and it's a good pick up here by Milo Dorignac. It's sent back again. You see they are so quick. Dundas very, very quick. Dorignac now turns the ball on the round the outside. Will send that one over the halfway line, hoping that his number 2 would be up there, Milo Dorignac. But again, a man by the name of Taylor, Hugo Taylor, just getting there a little bit quicker. And that is all they wrote at the end of the first half. 9 goals to 3. Dundas can be very happy and very confident going into the second half. We're going to have a small little break, handing it back to the studio, and then when we come back, I hope to have John Sieber with me in front of camera. Stay tuned here on Chukka TV for the Seba Memorial Final 2021. Welcome back, everybody. Great to have you with us here, tuned in on Chukka TV. I did promise I was going to try and do my best. I tried very hard. Good afternoon, John Sieber.
Thank you very much.
John, before we go into some of the history of this great tournament, let's just get your views on that superb, fast, and very, very exciting first half between these two teams.
First of all, the horses are going very well, very fast. It looks like they're playing above 12 goals to me.
So can you have you already picked a favourite here, or are you more for the underdog?
For the underdog.
You're for the underdog.
A good game.
Well, John, listen. First of all, I'd like to ask you just to answer a couple of questions for those of you who've never seen or never joined us for the Sieber before. How long has this trophy been around?
This is the 30th year.
The 30th year.
30th year.
So a very, very special year, and of course, it is in remembrance of
my brother Rob.
Real brother Rob, who himself, of course, was an active player.
Yes.
And a little birdie told me earlier on that you yourself were once a man in the saddle.
Well, a little bit. Nobody ever accused me of being a polo player, but I did it.
But you played polo, so you are of course an equine person. Do you still ride today, or
a little bit? Yeah.
You do ride today. Okay. Well, John, thank you very much for taking the time out to talk to us. Now we will of course have you a little bit later also presenting the trophies. Now what you can tell me, because obviously this is what we're here for, is do you have a favourite player? Because we will, of course, at the end of this game have the prize presentation, and that includes an MVP award. That is the most valuable player. Now, obviously, the committee will decide, but I'm sure that your voice will matter. Do you have a player out there at the moment that stands out where you say that could be a contender for the MVP?
It's very clear to me who it is.
Well, tell me, who is he?
No, wait to the end.
Oh, you're teasing me. John Sieber, you are teasing me. Thank you very much. Well, listen, take your seat again, enjoy, and we will see you back here, of course, for the prize presentation. The players are still at the pony lines, and we will throw this back to the studio, hoping that you will, of course, join us for what promises to be a very exciting second half when we come back for the Seba Memorial in its 30th year. Thank you very much again, John Sieber. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, tuned in on Chucker TV, either here in Florida or Wellington, or of course anywhere around the globe. Great to have you with us this afternoon. If you are watching and you'd like to ask a question, give a comment, give some feedback, please feel free to do so. My dear colleague and friend Steve Lane and I, sitting here on the halfway line, will of course endeavour to come back to you with the any answers you may have. If you'd like a shout out again, drop us a line and we will give you a shout out. Here we go then. Welcome back. The second half of the Seba Memorial 2021, and a big thank you also once again to John Sieber taking the time out at that halftime interval to come and talk to us. 30th year, the Seba Memorial, and now that really is quite a number to be proud of. Both of these teams, of course, know each other. They met once before they met again here in today's final. That first time they played together, it was Newport who won that game. But it looks like we've done the old, or they're doing the old switcheroo here, as Dundas in the black shirts here with young Cable Magnus, who scored a cracking goal in Chucker number 3, alongside Juan Cruz Marcos working very hard, and then the two very, very strong players, both of 4 goals, Hugo Taylor from the United Kingdom and Tatu Gomez Romero. In between the two of those players, they have scored 7 goals. No, 8 goals, beg your pardon. No, 7 goals, because they did get a goal at, from the outset due to the handicap. Here we have a nice play by Gene Goldstein. Goldstein in front of goal. Can he finish it? Yes, he can. Well, Gene, as I said, no stranger to playing in a final. A very dangerous number 1, the goal getter. Steve was talking about the positions where these players play. And Gene Goldstein clearly leaving the best for last. Coming back with an early goal here. Top of Chucker, number 4. They need a few goals because Newport are currently trailing by 4 goals to 9. As I was just going through the teams there, Dundas with Tatu Gomez Romero and Hugo Taylor, the 2 4-goalers. Newport then again with Gene Goldstein, the man who just scored a few moments ago. Milo Dorignac at number 2, playing off 2 goals. Michel Dorignac, who we see on the ball as we speak here, highest handicap player of this final. And Michel will make no mistake getting his 4th of the match. As I said, he played the number 3 position with 6 goals to his name. And then the man from down under, Nick Manifold, making up the number 4, the backdoor position here, the defender, playing off 3 goals. So very, very quick. These 2 goals here from Goldstein and Michel Dorignac. Inching, but definitely coming closer to that 9, which has already been teed up and laid up on the scoreboard in favour of Dundas. They come back to the centre. And as we were saying, Steve, it's all about winning that throw-in. Goldstein nearly got another piece of it. Tatu Gomez Romero just avoiding Goldstein getting that first touch. Now Michel Dorignac. Dorignac round the outside on the near side. He's got Tatu breathing down his neck. Dorignac, can he put another one through? Cleared out of the jaws of that goal mouth there by the man with the number 4. And that, of course, is his job, even though he's already scored. Let's have a little look here. 4 goals. But Tatu Gomez Romero, I told you he was a dangerous player in so much that he's an exceptionally talented player. And he is, of course, a player that Newport need to get a grip on, because he will change from offence to defence and back in the blink of an eye. On the far side here with the number 2. That, of course, Juan Cruz Marcos. Marcos! Down the line, coming the man with the number 3, Hugo Taylor, appealing to the umpires. Wasn't that my line? The umpires clearly saw that a little bit differently, so play continues. And a break and a chance here for Nick Manifold and Newport to run away with it. Manifold, cool as a cucumber, will take it down the field. There's not much here the man from Blighty can do to the man from down under. Great run for Nick Manifold. And all of a sudden, 3 goals in it. Remember, they came into this 4th Chucker with Dundas leading by 9 goals to 3. Well, they managed to halve that deficit to just 3 goals. It is now 6 goals to 9. Still very much here in favour of Dundas. 3:09, 3:07, I should say, on the clock. The umpires blow the whistle. We will have a courtesy change. Steve, Newport clearly making the most of that halftime team talk, a pep talk, which I'm sure will have had, or we can see is having repercussions. It looks like we're seeing a completely new Newport team here. Or are they just getting a little bit too strong and Dundas thinking if they can just carry this through to the end?
I don't think so. Remember I mentioned it, 2:49. With 2:49 left in the third chukker, Newport will go in under the tent and they'll have a discussion and they'll change things around a little bit. And it looks like that's what they've done. And actually they've just kind of strong-armed their way through a couple of these plays. And Nick Manifold, wisely enough, goes from the back door when he sees Michelle, goes from the back door to the front, and that's what brought on that last goal. So 3 quick goals here by Newport Polo Group. And you know what? They're changing things around very quickly.
Well, that is another proof of how quickly things can change in a game of polo. You never really want to have that complacency where you think you've done enough and then all of a sudden, you know, as I said in the beginning, you snooze, you lose, and you will get punished. I think you're right. All of these players here playing well above their station. This does not seem like a 12-goal game. The Seba Memorial final, always, of course, great polo. And I hope that, of course, you are watching on Chucker TV. We are coming to you live from Jan Pamela Polo Club, literally between Santa Rita, the sister farm, to Grand Champions Polo Club, which reminds me to inform you that, of course, tomorrow it is a big WPL day. Actually, the entire weekend has got the WPL written all over it. We've had the first round, 8 teams played, 4 matches in the throughout the week. And tomorrow we will go into round 2. We've got 3 WP games lined up for you, starting at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. The second then at 1, and the third at 4. And then, of course, on Sunday, the featured game. But now let's go back and watch Juan Cruz Marcos here try and bring his team into double figures. A break. Juan Cruz gets the putter out, makes no mistake. And Juan Cruz gets also now his first goal of this final. Now all 4 players of Dundas on the score sheet, and they lead by 10-6. Well, after that run of 3 goals by Newport, Dundas clearly realised they can't be hitting the snooze button too often, Steve. And they've woken up. They're right back in this game. Clock running down, a little under 2 minutes left to play. They're into double figures. It was 9-3 when they came out onto the field. At the moment, it is 10-6. And Dundas again coming out on top with that throw-in. A little bit confusion there with Newport. Who's going to pick up the ball? It'll be Michel Dorignac. Dorignac sends it out to the left-hand side where Milo Dorignac was waiting. He'll pick this one up. Sends it back across the field, looking for Manifold. Well, that's the old zigzag combination. We've seen that a lot in the WPL, where they literally will play a zigzag polo, one-touch polo, I like to call it. But if that zigzag does not zag or zig itself, then this is what's going to happen. Dundas will, with a couple of clever little plays here, will send the ball down the field. Now, I'm not sure why Hugo Taylor, who had all the time in the world, could have even had a quick cheeky cup of tea on the way there, should have taken maybe a little bit more time, and would have been rewarded with goal number 4 for him. Instead, it'll be possession and a knock-in for Newport. Newport immediately running into a little bit of traffic there. Nicely outplayed. Juan Cruz Marcos can all but watch. He's given it back to Taylor. Taylor will steal it back. The bell or the horn has gone. As once again, Marcos coming back now deep in defence to try and turn defensive into offensive play. Newport fighting very hard, gaining possession, and that could be a nice drive here from Manifold up to the front. Goldstein is up there. Good first touch from him. He's still got a little time, a few seconds remaining, but Dundas clear it, and that will be end of chukker number 4. So a convincing win here in the, if we just isolate that 4th chukker, 3-1. But is it going to be enough? They still have 2 chukkers to play, and hopefully continue the way they've played in this fourth chukker. They leave the field with 6 goals to 10 if you are supporting Newport. If you are supporting Dundas, of course, they lead by 10 goals to 6. We'll be right back here after this short break for the penultimate and final chukker of the Seba Memorial Final 2021. Welcome back, everybody. A wonderful, warm, good afternoon to you here, Friday afternoon. What better thing to do, what better place to be than either here on the field or, of course, at home in the comfort of your home, watching this Sieber Memorial Final in the comforts of your own home on, of course, Chukker TV. It has been a thrilling final up until now. We saw a nice little turnaround here in that first of the 3 chukkers in the second half by Newport, who came back with 3 very quick and very solid goals. Only one time did Dundas score in that previous chukker. Juan Cruz Marcos, the last player at Dundas to now also get his name on the score sheet with a goal. And again, Dundas on the break here. This is high in the sky. It's going to just stay in play as it comes off the sideboards. The fast man to it will be Milo Dorignac. Dorignac gets the support there from Michel. Nicely played. Juan Cruz Marcos knows he needs to get out of the way to allow that ride of the ball. Tattoo took the player first, pushed him off that line ever so slightly, but he's left it now for Nick Manifold, and he will leave it for Dorignac. Dorignac will probably drill this one. Or not. He wants to maybe run this one himself, Dorignac. But that puts him in a dangerous position because all the defenders there from Dundas will be waiting for him. Possibly now a shot to go. Maybe that was the tee-up play that they wanted to play as Manifold drills that one down the field. But a whistle pull, stop it on that play. Ball coming off a defending player. And we had that once before. I believe it was in the first chukker. A safety, 60, when the ball comes off a defending player. So a chance here, and a very important chance for Michel Dorignac to try and once again close the gap on those 4 goals that is currently separates them to Dundas, who of course, as you know, have 10. And that ball slightly to the left of the normal penalty 4 spot. Remember, that is 60 yards straight down the line onto goal. Here, because it went out on the left-hand side, just adjacent to the penalty 4 spot. And Michel Dorignac will try and send this one as high as he can. We saw that as well, which is not very often. That looks pretty straight to me, but the goal judge, of course, he will know better. You might remember back, I think it was chukker number 2, when Dundas managed to fish a ball like that out of the sky. It was hit very well. So no score. Another big opportunity here for Newport to close in on that gap. Dundas have it. 6 minutes left to play. Penultimate chukker. And at the front there, Cable Magnus making himself available. Would love to get himself in a position where he could score another goal. Oh, they've lost this now. This could be a chance for a counter-attack here. Down the field coming was Dorignac. Dorignac trying to weave his way through those Dundas defenders. He's going to concede and give it to Manifold, I believe. And Manifold, after I think Milo tried it, it was left for Nick Manifold. Important goal. 7 goals to 10. Penultimate chukker. Still plenty of time. Well over 5 minutes as they come back to the centre. So this is very much far from a done deal. What you really don't want to do now, especially at this stage of the game, very often these sort of finals, these important matches are decided in the penultimate and final chukker. No room for complacency as Dorignac just waiting to tee up that ball perfectly. Tatu Gomez Romero will send it back, but only as far as Manifold, intercepting it nicely. He's got a man going up there. Goldstein was again reading the play, anticipating that ball. He didn't realise that Dorignac was going to held up in a bit of traffic here, and that one, well, the idea was good, but too steep. Nothing Goldstein could do, and Cable Magnus playing the number 1 here now, doing the switcheroo we spoke about, coming back in defence, sticking very closely there to his counterpart player there, the man with the number 1. But Dundas have possession. Now, what do you think, Steve? Are they going to keep this very, very fast pace going, or are they going to slowly now play what you thought earlier on was going to be the strategy of Newport? Are they going to try and take the pace down here, or do you think they will play like this right through to the end?
Oh, I think they'll play right like this right through the end. It's been working for them. Dundas, fell asleep there for a couple of minutes early on in the 4th chukker, and Newport capitalized on it. So I think both teams have to keep going the way they're going, and Michel Dorignac shooting those long shots, sooner or later he's going to find the mark and a teammate up front.
Well, let's hope that they do, and let's hope that we have a nice last session or last part to this, what has been an absolutely thrilling final. Compliments to both teams. Newport very much turning up the heat and coming right back into this game in the second half. That's a pass up to the front door. Can Goldstein get to it? He can't. A little bit too far for him to reach. Oh, but hang on. Goldstein will try with a little near side backhand to send it back into that danger zone. But Dundas, highly concentrated, will try and run away with it. He's going to have to run this one himself. The man with the number 3 here, the Englishman, Hugo Taylor. No one to play it to. Great stick work from him. Going up with him now is Cable Magnus. Taylor gets lucky there. The ball is still in possession. Well, that, of course, is a big, big no-no. Again, good call by the umpires. Talk us through that one, Steve, would you?
Yeah, Hugo Taylor had a offside play and swapped over to the near side right in front of Nick Manifold. And Nick Manifold had to check down to keep from those horses' legs getting tangled up. So a good call by the officials, zigging and zagging back and forth across the right of way, creating a dangerous situation. So we will have our courtesy horse change, and we'll start with a penalty in foul of Newport when we come back.
Thank you, Steve. That was well put. Yeah, the zigging and the zagging is, of course, something which will result to a right-of-way infringement. You need to be very, very careful. The zigging and the zagging that I was talking about earlier on is if you literally use and capitalize on using the open space to change direction. But he got a little bit unlucky there. But as you rightly said, he had to check up, of course. And again, all very much designed around the welfare of the 4-legged and the 2-legged athlete. 2:40 on the clock. 3 goals in it. Dundas, the team in the black shirts here, scoring twice in the first. Thrice, 3 times in the second, 3 times again in the third, once in the fourth. No score yet here for Dundas in the 5th. On the other side, Newport have already scored once in the 5th, and they scored 3 in the previous chukker. Only once in the 3rd. No score in chukker number 2. And they hit the target twice in chukker number 1, leaving the score line as it stands there on the scoreboard with 10 goals to 7 in favour of Dundas. The courtesy pony change, remember, no more than 45 seconds as the players come back out on the field to finish off the remaining 2:40 of chukker number 5. So after that whistle that we heard just a few moments ago there, a foul committed by Taylor, a hit from the spot, a 5-8, quickly taken here by Newport. Newport allowed clear passage into the half of Dundas, and that, I thought, had Gene Goldstein's name on it. What it did, as Tatu, he had different ideas. Again, the ball cleared there by Juan Cruz Marcos, but only as far as Dorignac. Milo Dorignac will probably leave this one behind for Michel. He does, but he didn't see that Juan Cruz Marcos. He put his all into the mix, and now Taylor. Taylor, there's no one at the front. He's going to have to try and run this one himself. He needs to outplay and outpace the man with the number 2, Milo Dorignac. There comes a long-distance shot on goal. Just wide. Just wide. But of course, this is costing valuable time now, Steve, and that is something which Newport are slowly but surely running out of.
Yeah, time is not on their side with 1:35 left here in the 5th chukker, so Newport needs to get something on the board here quick before the second horn blows to end this chukker.
Well put, and that, of course, I'm sure will motivate them now. Maybe a chance here. Goldstein, solid first touch from him. He's got young Cable Magnus. Cable Magnus, yeah, getting a little bit too confident there. Turns around, has a look at the umpire. Can't quite understand what he did, but I think it was clear to see. I mean, we saw it here happen right in front of our eyes. Crossing that line more than ever so slightly. So a good call here. Goldstein would have been away with that. Well, I would also put my money on at least a penalty 3, if not a 2 even, because Goldstein was straight gunning for goal. Let's see what the umpires decide to do. 2. Yeah, no surprise there. Then a penalty 2, as Goldstein was the first, or the last man, if you will, with a clear run to goal. And teeing up the ball, Michel Dorignac. Well, if he can convert here now and score, closing the gap to just 2 goals with 1:17 left to play, then it really is still very much within the grasp of Newport to turn this around. It's going to come down to the 6th and final chukker. Play is called. Dorignac. Michel Dorignac with an open goal. Takes a tap. Let's hope that that ball does not just die before it crosses the back line. It didn't, so Manifold getting a very important goal here, making it 8 goals to 10. Michel Dorignac, 8 goals to 10. So far it is 2 goals to 0 here for Dundas. Beg your pardon, for Newport in this penultimate chukker. Dundas, of course, still leading comfortably. And a little bit of debris on the field, of course. One of the ponies there losing his Jimmy Choos as Julio Scoro puts the ball back into play. And now another chance. This is a deja vu. The 2 number 1s again. Magnus up against Gene Goldstein. Would it be nice to have seen Gene Goldstein put one up through the uprights, putting his team literally right back into this game. But hang on, it's not over yet. 30 seconds left to play. A little flick of the wrist. Has he hit the target? Yes, he has. Nick Manifold, the man from down under, comes up to surface. Beg your pardon, Milo Dorignac. It looked like Nick Manifold from where I'm sitting, but it was Milo Dorignac getting a very, very important goal back here. 3 goals to 0 at the end of that chukker in favour of Newport. Well, who would have thought? Remember when they came out at half-time or at the end of the first half, it was 9-3 for Dundas. They've toiled, they've laboured, they've come back hard, and they are now just 1 goal away. Make sure you sit tight and join us here for the 6th and final chukker of the Seba Memorial Final in just a few moments. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. Chance here for Steve and myself to catch our breath because obviously we are talking polo non-stop here. Just had a little review over that last chukker. And as you quite rightly said, Steve, Dundas not doing their job the way they have done so far. Newport very much doing their job, and they've been duly rewarded, scoring 2 chukkers now back-to-back with 3 goals in each. So 6 goals in the last 2 chukkers. Whereas if I look at the score sheet here, only 1 goal scored by Juan Cruz Marcos in the 4th chukker. No score in chukker number 5, which has brought Newport right back into this final. They trail by 1. It is 10-9 in favour of Dundas, as Julio Esquerra will throw the ball into play. Best of luck, gentlemen. We are in the 6th and final chukker. And a nice combination play, and all of a sudden they are just playing their game here. Milo Dorignac just did not hit that ball the way he wanted to. And you know what, Steve, I've noticed also, it's been a little bit quieter, especially in the second half, around those 2 players, Hugo Taylor and Tatu Gomez Romero. I mean, they were the 2 that really brought this match alive in the first 2 chukkers. It's been a little bit quiet around them 2 in the second half.
Well, I think Newport's dominated possession of the ball, and that makes them a little bit quieter. So Newport doing his job, keeping the ball. The best defense is a good offense, and that's exactly what Newport's doing.
Well, let's see how they fare now in this 6th and final chukker. It's going to come down to position on the field and also possession of the ball. That is going to make all the difference here. Another whistle on that play. And indeed, I would agree with you there. We mentioned that in the game earlier. The top pony 12 goal, of course, where we had exactly a similar call. You cannot tackle or challenge a player from both sides. The so-called sandwich attack 2-on-1 is not allowed in the world of polo. In other games, in other sports, it very much is. But in polo, it is a 1-on-1. You cannot have a man challenge or tackle you from both sides. So a good call here by the umpires, and it'll be taken by Tatu Gomez Romero. Looking for Taylor. Getting there just a little bit ahead of Taylor was Dorignac. Michel Dorignac trying to control that ball. Straight away, 2 defending players, Juan Cruz Marcos and Hugo Taylor, trying to get possession back. Little pick up here. Tatu Gomez Romero will try and send Juan Cruz on his way with that pass. But he's got to avoid the ride-off. He'll try and pick this one up on the near side. He did well, but the ride-off was still very much there. Michel Dorignac did not send that ball as far down the field as he would have liked, as Tatu Gomez Romero will be thanking him very much for that and gets rewarded. Well, we spoke about him just now. Where was he? And commentator Skurs, as soon as you mention his name, he's back in the game.
Came to Yeah, Tattoo coming to life right there all the way from beyond center line, taking it down to that west end of the field and helping his team out and putting it on through, even with a man right in front of him. So he's got his mind on the game, and he's concentrating and making things work.
Well, I'm sure Dundas will be able to sigh a sigh of relief there as they manage to at least restore a little bit of a cushion here. At this stage of the game, of course, no room for error as Manifold turns that one around. Two defending players there. Juan Cruz Marcos could have done a little bit more with that, running down the line, but he was beaten there by Manifold. Tatu Gomez Romero, 4:45 left on the clock. And Newport, Dorignac, Michel Dorignac trying to get a little bit closer. Left behind, there is the shot up to the front. Has he found a gap? Just puts it wide. Well, now, of course, very much like that Rolling Stone song said, time is on your side, or in this case, maybe not. Dundas, aware of the fact that the clock now, of course, running a little bit in their favour. They just need possession here. That would be my strategy. Just hold the ball as long as you can. Newport's strategy will be steal the ball back. And they nearly got away with it. Manifold appealing there. The umpire's whistle stays silent. On the far side, Taylor. Can he outrun Michel Dorignac? He's going to give it a go. Dorignac will take the man first, shutting down Taylor, because he would have been through. Dorignac looking for Goldstein. Goldstein is up there. Couldn't pick that one up. Good first touch here from Juan Cruz Marcos. And this is what I mean about possession. This is all costing valuable time. Michel will push him over the sideboards. Coming down the line is Tattoo. Not happy there with the umpire. Now the whistle. That could be a late call. Well, that is, of course, also a no-no. You don't want to be back chatting to the umpire just because he didn't blow the whistle the way you might have done so. And this is where the umpires will always have the upper hand. And it could be that what we call in polo a technical penalty could be awarded here. 3:16 is left on the clock. And the umpires will get that courtesy change. Well, you heard it, Steve. I heard it as well. And I think I just heard you say a very good call indeed. Player there. We're not going to mention any names, but you do not want to do that on the field. Tell us a little bit more about the technical penalty, would you, Steve?
Well, that was unsportsmanlike conduct against one of the Dundas players, and the umpire's not going to put up with it, especially this late in the game when all 8 players were warned previously in a chucker about the chatting to the umpires. So I think a great call by the umpires. They've still got to main control until the second horn. And remember, this game has the ability to go into overtime the way the scoring has been here in the last 2 periods. So umpires want to keep control and not let it get out of hand.
Absolutely. As my mother would say, it's all about decorum, decorum, decorum. And, but of course, not wanting to right or wrong good, but if, at this late stage of the game, of course, adrenaline is pumping, of course, but that is no excuse. Social conduct and social etiquette, of course, very important in the game of polo to be upheld. So, a penalty 2 as a result of that technical foul, the unsportsmanlike conduct committed there by Dundas. Now, this could cost them dearly. It would bring Newport into double figures if they convert here and now. And that would make it 10 goals to 11. With still plenty of time on the score. No mistake. Newport get that. Who scored that, Steph? Michel Dorignac making a very, very quick conversion there. 10 goals to 11. 3 minutes left to play. Newport need a couple of very quick goals. And Dundas can now only hope that they hold on to that lead. If they don't, and we do get an equaliser, it could force a 7th golden goal, winner-take-all, deciding chukker. Thank you, Steve Lane, just filling me in on a right-of-way violation. Not, of course, intentional, hence a hit from the spot, just adjacent to the halfway line, in favour of Dundas, who thought they might get lucky and get a penalty for. So it'll be Tatu Gomez Romero. What will he play? Will he tee it up, or will he try and drill one down the field? Well, he definitely tried to do the latter. Hugo Taylor will be hoping to pick that one up, but Nick Manifold there, playing a very solid number 4. Again, it's left for Juan Cruz Marcos. Marcos on the near side. Sent back down the field. Pick up nice here on the near side by Cable Magnus. And that will just run out of polo field. 2:08 on the clock. 1 goal separating these two teams. Newport have possession. Definitely a step in the right direction. They need to hold on to that possession, as the ball will be met just over the halfway line by Tatu Gomez Romero. He's got the pressure there coming in from Nick Manifold. Tatu will try and take it round the outside. A near side forehand. A good touch there from Cable Magnus. Manifold will try and send it back. Taylor. Taylor. Well, he's got what you would call shading there. He's got a man right across his way. The umpire's being very tolerant there. There's the open backhand again from that number 1 player, Cable Magnus. The near side backhand, nicely taken by Taylor. Taylor sinks it full at the feet of Tatu Gomez Romero, and Tatu will put it through. Now, is that the decider? Tatu Gomez Romero getting a very important second goal here. 12 goals to 10. 52 seconds left on the clock. They were so close, Newport, within reaching distance there of getting the equaliser. We're down to the last few seconds as they come back to the centre for what I'm sure will be the final throw-in. Tatu. There it is, ball's thrown into play, 30 seconds. Now then, if Dundas, whoa, there's another whistle. There is another whistle on that play. And it's a hit from the spot in favour of Newport, I believe is what the call was, coming there from Del Schwetz. Well, there's only really one thing you can do now, Steve, and that is try and hit it and score from there. Dundas standing very close. Play is about to be called as brought back will be Dorignac. Michel, exactly as I anticipated, he will send that one deep down the field, but Tatu now playing the number 4 position. He will run the clock down. Possession is all that matters here now, but they've managed to find a little gap. Into the corner they go. Dundas have it. Picked up nicely on the near side. And Dundas will run away with this. And ladies and gentlemen, what a thrilling final. The winners of the Seba Memorial, after they lost to Newport in a previous match in this tournament, managed to secure the winner. It was a very close game. Huge compliments here to Newport, who managed to turn things around and give us a thrilling final here. The way they scored in that second half. And I think you're absolutely right, Steve. Had they played like this a little bit earlier, it would have been an even closer affair. So commiserations, but with their heads held high, Gene Goldstein, Milo Dorignac, Michel Dorignac, and of course Mr. Nick Manifold. Congratulations. I'm sure Sarah Siegel-Magnus will be delighted, especially with the performance here of young Cable Magnus scoring in the third chukker. Well done, Cable. Juan Cruz Marcos also with a score to his name in chukker number 4. And then, of course, Hugo Taylor and Tatu Gomez Romero putting the finishing touches on what has been a thrilling final. Thank you very much. We will throw this back to the studio, allowing the players just to catch their breath and then join us for the prize presentation. Make sure you join us in just a few moments here for the Seba Memorial Final presentation with John Sieber conducting that presentation. Stay tuned here on Chukka TV. We'll be right back. Okay, I'm ready, guys. Have John Sieber, who is going to be conducting the prize presentation. We are going to start, of course, with the ground champions, best playing pony. Leona, there she is. Let's have a round of applause for Leona, ladies and gentlemen. She was ridden by Cable Magnus in the chukker, in the second chukker. A round of applause, please, for the Grand Champions Polo Club best playing pony. Leona, there she is, and thank you very much, John Sieber, of course, for lending us a helping hand, putting on the best playing pony blanket of the Seba Memorial 2021. Let's have a round of applause for that pony. Let's get all the pictures that we need, of course. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My friends, if I can now ask the players to please make their way up onto the podium, please. Can we have the players, the teams up on the podium? Thank you very much. John Sieber will be assisting. Juan will help you. John, you just stay right there. Thank you very much. There you are, your winners there, Team Dundas. And now also the runners-up, ladies and gentlemen. Make some noise for both of these teams, both finalists here, Dundas and Newport. Thank you very much. Yes, very important, of course. Health and safety is, of course, first. John, are you ready? We are going to start with the runners-up. They gave us a thrilling second half in this final, the Seba Memorial. Ladies and gentlemen, John Sieber, please step forward for Newport at number 1, Mr. Gene Goldstein. Well done, Gene. At number 2, make some noise for Milo Dorignac. Well done, Milo. At number 3, of course, the highest handicap player in this final. Give it up for Michel Dorignac. And then, of course, last but by no means least, ladies and gentlemen, the man from down under, Mr. Nick Manifold. Well done, Nick. And now over to the winners of this, a very memorable year, the 30th anniversary of the Seba Memorial. At number 1, give it up for the young man that is Cable Magnus. Well done, Cable. At number 2, Juan Cruz Marcos. At number 3, the man from Manchester. Thank God he supports City and not Manchester United, Mr. Hugo Taylor. And at number 4, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tatu Gomez Romero. John, if you'd like to take centre stage for a group photograph of all the teams, thank you very much. And then we will ask Newport to kindly exit stage left. Thank you very much. Newport, if you'd like to stay up there, please, Team Dundas. We, of course, still have one very important award to give, and that is the Seba Memorial MVP of this final. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, MVP is Tatu Gomez Romero. And now the moment that Dundas have been waiting for, and that is this beautiful and very, very heavy trophy, as John Sieber will hand that to the team that have won the Seba Memorial, and this the 30th anniversary. John, that's it. You want to get right in the middle there? No, you stay up there, John. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, your champions, Team Dundas, Cable Magnus, Juan Cruz Marcos, Hugo Taylor and Tatu Gomez Romero. Well done, boys. Now, Just stay there for a moment, John, for the final pictures. Up there as well, of course. She played in this tournament, ladies and gentlemen. There she is. Once again, make some noise for Team Dundas. Thank you. Now, John, if you'd like to come and join me down here, that would be great. Here we go, John. Let's just go a little bit over here, centre, so that they can capture us there in on the film. John, first of all, thank you again for your continuous support. Tell me in 3 or 4 words, how did you enjoy that final?
It was a great final. Both teams played great. The horses played great. The field played great. And I'd like to thank Grand Champions for holding the tournament for so many years now, continuing, and the Gonzi family.
There she is.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That goes to you, Melissa.
Yeah.
John, thank you very much for your support. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. I hope you've enjoyed watching really what was an absolutely thrilling final here, coming to you from Jan Pamela Polo Field. Remember, the action continues tomorrow. It's a big WPL day. The first match starting at 10 o'clock, 1 p.m. and 4 p.m. And we'll be bringing you updates of the second match of the 50,000 National 12 goal. From all of us here, from the winners, from Newport, from Dundas, from Jan Pamela, from everybody concerned, thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And make sure you tune in tomorrow, 10 o'clock Florida time. Thank you, John.